Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, and listeners. I'm the Filipino podcasting machine, Princey D. With me, as always, Timmy B. We've got a great show lined up for you today. But before we start, please take a moment to follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, wherever you get your pods, and leave 5-star reviews. If you'd like to support the show and get some amazing healthy treats, check out middaysquares.com and use Fight Insight 15 to save 15% on your first order, or click on the show notes below. On today's episode, we talked to a Canadian fighter making her bare knuckle debut, discuss Anthony Rumble Johnson, break down the UFC 266 card, and a whole lot more. Tim, hit it!
Yeah, it's Timmy B, Princey D, Fight Insight, yeah.
I've got cat hair all over me, Prince, because of what we did before this. All right, a former King of the Cage MMA champion and a pro kickboxer with a 12-2 record. Our guest today has recently signed a 4-fight deal with Bkfc and is set to make her debut at the inaugural New York card on November 6th. Born in Toronto, Canada, she now trains at Grant's MMA and House of Champions. We're so excited to interview our very first bare knuckle fighter, our first female bare knuckle fighter, and our first Bkfc athlete. Ladies and gentlemen, from right here in Toronto, Canada, knuckle up and prepare to welcome
Melissa, the Canadian Queen, Karagianis.
Yeah. How are you doing, Melissa?
Good, thank you.
How's everything?
Pretty good. Just got
Good.
back from training a little while ago.
Nice. And you do have someone there with you, which I want to make sure we get on the podcast immediately. Can we see who's there with you?
Yes, she's been very excited.
Oh, her debut as well on the Fight Insight podcast. Oh my goodness.
This is Zena, the Princess Warrior.
Of course, because the queen needs a princess. So there you go. Look at that. What a cutie.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And I was showing...
Listen.
Yeah. Good. Melissa, so welcome to the show. This is our 32nd episode, so we're so excited to have you. And this is, our first, as I said in the intro, our very first time introducing and talking to a bare knuckle fighter. Pretty crazy. First question, how the heck do you train for bare knuckle fighting?
So this will be my first bare knuckle fight.
Okay.
I started my fight camp about a month ago. I've been training really hard, so I have like two of the best coaches in Canada helping me prep for this. Great. So far my fight camp's been great. A lot of boxing. Obviously bare knuckle isn't just like boxing. It's kind of it's a combat sport on its own. So there's going to be different strategies. And yeah, I'm just training my ass off. My strength and conditioning, making sure I'm in tip-top form. Just everything I can do.
Melissa, actually, I wanted to ask you, like, are you good conditioning any of your knuckles at all? Like, are you like punching like a bag of rocks?
Maybe. But, I've been doing martial arts and competing. I've been competing about 10 years now. I have pretty strong bones. Okay. Obviously, I'm like focusing on like conditioning my body, conditioning my knuckles, and yeah, they'll be ready.
That's crazy, because I do see like sometimes online, like you'll see some fighters and they're like punching into sand, like they're almost like at a beach and they're punching down into sand. Is there something like that? Like, is that such a thing?
Yeah, for sure. Like you want to make sure that like they're conditioned, right? Just there's so many little bones in your hands, so many little bones, tendons, right? So, but then too, like just overall conditioning, like doing a lot of push-ups for your knuckles. Making sure that they're nice and ready.
So, Melissa, are you doing any of this conditioning at the Bluffs?
It's my secret. I can't tell you.
You should tell you where.
My secret workouts, yes.
Nice. And Melissa, for those of you that don't know about you, who are you, and like how did you grow up, and how did you get into martial arts?
So I'm born in Toronto. I started martial arts. So my first martial art was Taekwondo. I guess I started when I was in grade 2, did it all the way up until high school. I got my 2nd degree black belt in it. When I just loved sparring. That was my thing. I wasn't too into the katas and the patterns and all that, but I loved competing. Yeah, it was my thing. Like I would spend like I would train a few times a week, and it kind of carried it through all the way up until my teenage years. And then I stopped martial arts altogether. And then when I was about 22, I'm like, okay, I want to get into shape, and that's when I started training Muay Thai. And I instantly loved Muay Thai. I trained in Muay Thai for about 7 years, competed internationally in that, and then I transitioned into MMA. I had my first pro fight in the Caribbean, did really well for that, got signed to King of the Cage, and yeah,
That's
now
crazy.
we're doing bare knuckle. So I've been competing for many years and training.
And Melissa, you know what? I was doing some research on you, and you said in a previous interview that you were at first, like, you had a little hard time just punching, right? Because so you're so used to the kicks, right? And
Yeah,
and now you're doing bare knuckles, so that's nuts, right?
yeah. Like, like Taekwondo is, it's a lot of like leg movements, a lot of it's very, even when I started Muay Thai, I was the shittiest person at when I started Muay Thai, because I'm just like, it's completely different, right? Taekwondo, you kick with your foot. Muay Thai, it's more power, break bones with your shins.
Yeah.
But I became the gym's first champion in that. So I believe with hard work, right, you can achieve anything you want.
That's incredible. And Melissa, how do you, when that offer gets made, or like when BKFC comes to you and says, okay, we want you to come in here, what goes through your head to make that transition? Because like Prince is saying, I mean, you went from all kicks to kicks and feet, and now all punches, sorry, kicks and punches, to now just all punches, like, and it's bare knuckle. So like, what went through your head to make that transition and to agree to it?
Well, like my last like 10 fights were on MMA, right? So MMA, I had to learn jujitsu for that. We have the 4-ounce gloves on that. So,
Yeah.
I competed with some of the best in the world in that. My last MMA fight was, well, coming this November will be like 2 years,
Okay.
year and a half, 2 years. And I just think of this as a new opportunity, a great opportunity to prove myself. I'm definitely a striker. I'm a striker at heart, and I have the aggression. And I think this is a great opportunity. Like, with COVID, a lot of things have changed for fighters. It's been a little bit more difficult to like train originally, and to fight.
Yeah.
So, I'm like taking this opportunity, and I'm very excited. It seems like a really great league to fight for.
Yeah.
And I'm excited as well that, I'll be the first 115-pound fight for this.
Yeah.
BKFC. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Have
Yeah.
you been to a BKFC event before? And the reason I ask is because we had Elise Anderson on, Little Savage, who's a MMA fighter in 1FC, formerly Invicta.
Yeah.
And she was in the corner, well, not in the corner, but she was she escorted Rachel Ostovich to her fight against Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah.
And they had gone to a couple events, and she was saying how shocked she was, like the environment, the drama, the energy. Like she said, it's like unlike anything she had seen before. So have you been to one already?
No, I haven't, but hopefully I'll be able to go to the one in Montana before the
Okay.
fight. Yeah,
Nice.
I'd like to, get like that like live experience, and there's a few really good fights on that card, and yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I could only imagine. So I'm like super pumped. Hopefully that works out.
Melissa, here's some tips for you. Okay, so you need at least 3 or 4 guys from your squad ready to rush the ring, because that's the way it is. Like, people just rush the ring, so you don't you don't really have to do anything. Just rush the ring, go in there and stand like you're ready to scrap for somebody, and then that's how it works. That's how, for some reason, that happens every time. Everybody rushes the ring. So you just gotta be ready to go. Get your boys, everybody to reach out there. So that's a little tip. Get your girls too. Get girls. Everybody. Yeah. Get everybody in there.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, Melissa. After you win your fight and you're in there giving your acceptance speech, make sure you're ready for some random YouTuber to come and attack you. Like, you have to, you know what I mean? Like, hands up the whole time. Like, don't. Yeah.
Of course, never drop my guard down.
Yeah, never. Even while they're giving you your belt. Oh, there's Zena. So, have you been, like, we're big fans of BKFC, actually. Like, BKFC has been pretty exciting. They put on a good show, the entrances, all that. What have you learned from watching BKFC? Like, have you been watching the fights, and have you been like trying to identify like what works well and what doesn't?
Yeah, my coaches and I, we've been watching a few of like the fights together, and like a lot, like there's a lot of different styles. Obviously, like defense is huge, right?
Yeah.
Defense, we see like a lot of the body shots, liver shots,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just gotta like move, right? Be
Yeah.
well prepared, right? You can't underestimate anyone, and like everyone's style is different. But yeah, we've been watching.
Okay. Is there anyone that has stood out to you that you're like, I mean, without giving away anything for you, but has there been anyone that stood out that you were like, oh, okay, that's the way I kind of like that looks good, what that person is doing, guy or girl?
Not particularly, but I believe it was the last fight and the last match of that fight. I'm not
Okay.
sure his name, but the guy with the mustache. He's like a veteran. He's been fighting for many years.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah. Okay. Did you
He was the main
happen?
event.
What's that?
He was the main event.
Yes. Yes. Did you watch the Pearl Gonzalez fight?
A little bit. Yeah.
She fought interesting because she fought very technical, like very long.
Yeah.
Like she kind of kept it was the girl Carissa Sweetheart kept her really at bay, whereas a lot of the BKFC fights they're like really in close and tight quarters, but she was fighting really long at distance. So you can see that like as the sport progresses, people will be able to like adapt, right, or like create different styles.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Do you have anything planned for your walkout? How does that work out? Like you see some people come with some pretty elaborate walkouts. Like, do you need Prince to learn a dance? That's what I want to ask.
You let me know. Listen, I'll be there for you. I'll take Xena with me as well.
Yeah.
You get like a nice leopard print outfit.
Yeah. He already has one, so it's fine.
Yeah, one in the closet. It's actually, Melissa, it's in the dry cleaning. So just let me know when I'm ready to go.
Okay, sounds good.
But do they talk to you about that at all? Like, maybe it's too far out, but like, do you know how that all works out? Like with the extravagance of the walkout and stuff like that. Like, how involved are you with that?
Yeah, they haven't talked to me about it yet, but right now we're just planning out like the fight outfit and all that stuff.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
I'll get some more information soon.
Okay, because it is very like it's quite the extravaganza, right? Like for people that haven't watched BKFC, and we tell people all the time, just pay that $8, man. It's totally worth it to watch all the cards. $8 a month. But I mean, there's a lot to it, right? The lights, the show, it's a big deal.
Yeah, like I fought in Japan for Ryzen.
Yeah, that's right.
And that like that was like a huge audience, and we did a rehearsal beforehand about just how to walk out and all that stuff, right? But yeah, I like that, and I'll be well prepared for that.
So Melissa, so what do they tell you? Like, how do you rehearse for your walkout? Like, did they give you a dance routine before you go in, or what's the?
So usually, like, you need to pick a walkout song, and it depends on the organization, right? So yeah.
So Melissa, what's your walkout song?
I haven't picked it yet.
What are some favorites?
I haven't even thought of it yet.
No, what are some favorites that you've used in the past?
So when I fought in Trinidad, I used Rihanna's song because she's from Trinidad, "Run This Town."
Smart.
And then when I fought for King of the Cage, I wasn't allowed to pick my music just because it was like on televised, right?
Yeah, so they have to pick it.
Yeah,
certain organizations are like that. We heard ONE FC said that, right? That ONE FC was picking songs for the fighters you didn't get to pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you're aggressive and all that, but for the fans that are watching now that are just being introduced to the Canadian Queen, what can they expect when they come and watch your fight on November 6th in New York City?
A very exciting fight, and just ready to like show, just really ready to represent Canada and show them like what bare knuckle is all about. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be the first 115-pound fighter for this. And yeah, I've been training really hard for this, and I'll be well prepared. And yeah, you guys will have to tune in and see.
Definitely, man, it's going to be so exciting. When you're sparring, is a lot of your sparring done with the smaller gloves, like with the 4-ounce gloves, in order to just get used to like the smaller hands coming at you, or do you still just wear boxing glove and like safety first on that end, or how does that work for you?
Like for sure safety, right? Because like you don't want to get any injuries leading up to the fight. We do like a lot of technical work. sparring. So it's a nice mix, right? Or like right now, like a lot of like safety sparring, we go hard, but we're also, just working technical, and I have a lot of great training partners, different sizes and just different styles. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Melissa, just a quick I'm curious. Like, have you ever gotten into like a bare knuckle fight, like at all? Like, even
nope,
growing up? Like, no way.
never. I've never, and I know a lot of people will always ask me, they'll be like, "Oh, why did you get into fighting? Is it because you like fighting, you like beating people up, or they think perhaps I had like an aggressive like childhood or something like that?" No, if anything, I was bullied. So, you
Oh.
know, I've never been in a street fight, but I don't think, that means anything in terms of like, fighting with your knuckles and whatnot. So,
Yeah,
there's a difference between there's a difference, I am an aggressive fighter, but I'm also very calm. So I think both of that go really well.
yeah. Keep your nerves and be ready and be calm and prepared, right? No, that's awesome.
And then some of the nicest people I know are MMA fighters or compete professionally. They're like, they'll open the door for you. They're so humble, but as soon as they step in the ring, it's like, oh my gosh, what did he do to you? Right? Like, it's one of those, right? So, but that's great. I mean, I think you're gonna be awesome in this event. I think we're gonna be in for a real show for when you step in, especially with your 1-2-1-2. I've seen the combos that you've been throwing, the 1-2-1-2. Ooh, double up on everything. So I think, listen, it's gonna be exciting.
You can't give that. You can't give that away, Prince. Well, I'll edit that out,
Oh, don't
Melissa.
worry,
Don't
there's
worry.
lots.
All right. So, Melissa, we went to the fans and we asked for some fan questions. So before we let you go, we're going to ask you a few. The first one is from UFC Rush. They want to know, who do you think is the hottest male fighter?
Okay. uh
Prince is a fighter, just so you know.
oh, is
Yeah.
he?
Oh, yeah. I've got a professional record of 0-3. I fought my mom, my brother, my father. Yeah.
I don't know. Hold on. Okay, come back to me on that one.
All right. We'll come back.
I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No, for sure. For a question from Tony's_student, he asks, would you rather date a promoter, a fighter, or a fan? By the way, I make funny ass memes. So go follow Tony's_student. But would you rather date a promoter, a fighter, or a fan?
Probably a fan. Like, it doesn't matter, but I think a fan, someone that's respects the sport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've heard
dated fighters before, but they don't want to be a fighter. Mm-hmm.
I just heard your Instagram messages start to go off the hook, so you better check those now. It's a lot of fans messaging.
Melissa, I just wanted to say sorry as well. We don't really filter through these questions, and a lot of them are relationship questions. And I know we try. I'm sorry.
No, we get good ones. At MMA Social Squad asks, do the type of hands you have play an advantage? Like if you had bony knuckles or bigger hands?
Yeah, I think so. I have pretty big hands, and my bones are known to cut people.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that will play a huge role into that, right?
Nice. Yeah, that's interesting. That was a good question, actually.
And oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so from when I started, even before I started MMA and fighting, George St. Pierre was always my biggest crush. Yeah.
There we go. All right.
I could see Melissa thinking about that question. She's like, who is somebody? Okay, yeah, GSP. You can't go wrong with another Canadian,
right?
Yeah, you gotta do a Canadian for sure. And the last question, we've been getting this question a lot, but this is Joni X3. Joni X3 asks, what are you watching on Netflix?
I honestly am not huge into TV.
Oh, no.
Not really.
All right.
I've been watching New Amsterdam.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Doctor show.
Nice. All right, cool. And last question is, I can't even say this one, XC5, whatever it is. They're asking, if you weren't a professional fighter, what would you be doing?
Uh, I would say the journalist.
Oh, okay, nice. Nice, cool. All right. Well, Melissa, on November 6th, BKFC goes to New York for the first time ever. It's going to be a crazy thing. You're on a 4-fight contract, right? So
Yeah.
people get on board with Melissa now. You're going to be seeing her a lot. She's going to be, knocking people out, going up that division. This is the very first ever atomweight fight, right?
Well, they call it strawweight. So,
Or sorry, strawweight.
Yeah.
So very first strawweight fight, and then are they looking to crown a champion at some point? Do you know about how does that work?
Yes. Yeah, that's the plan.
So they're going to have a few fights to kind of get some rankings going, and then figure out who's going to go for the championship fight.
Yeah.
Nice. That's crazy. That's going to be awesome. Melissa, before we let you go, is there anything that you'd like to say or anyone that you'd like to shout out?
Not really. Just my coaches and my training partners at Grants and House of Champions and
All right.
my friends. That's it.
All right. Are your friends supportive of this? Are they? I mean, I guess they've known you for a long time now, so they're used to this. But I mean, this is a whole different thing. Are your friends super excited, super scared? What's their vibe?
I haven't talked too much about what kind of fight it is.
All right.
I told my family, I'm yeah, I'm taking a fight again. It's a boxing fight. No, I'm joking. But it's they know. But they're always supportive, and they know I'm training hard for it, and they're happy for me.
Nice. Yeah, on your Instagram, you're up 6:30 in the morning training. I'm what the heck? Constant, right?
Yeah, that's what you have to do, right? Back to the grind and yeah.
But
Nice.
Melissa, can you imagine you never told your friends that you're going into a bare knuckle fight, and they just okay, so they're in there tuning in. They're like, oh my gosh, where's the gloves? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Melissa, we appreciate you coming on the podcast so much. Thank you so much for being our first ever BKFC fighter. I mean, it's an honor. You're a Canadian. You're the Canadian queen. So we're all excited to cheer you on November 6th, everybody. And we will be promoting your fight like crazy on our Instagram as well. So thank you so much for coming, Melissa.
Thank you for having me. Great speaking to you guys.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you again. Take care. Bye. All right.
Alrighty, our
BKFC. We've been talking about BKFC so much, Prince. All the fights that they're putting on. And now to know that they're creating a strawweight division.
Yep.
Ooh, baby. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I find any division, boxing, UFC, strawweights, that's where the action is at.
Strawweights are where the action is, the speed, the aggression, right? And before, when MMA strawweights first came on the scene, it was always decision fights, right? People were always the strawweights, they always just go to decision. Not anymore, man. These fighters have been evolving. They are now knocking each other out. It's getting aggressive. I can't wait to see it. BKFC, strawweight.
And UFC atomweight, let's get it started over there. Hello, my gosh, that would be amazing. If they got that going, that would be sick. But shout outs to Melissa and good luck to her. I know she's gonna do very well and use that aggression. And it's hopefully get our first ever Canadian down there too. So get a championship and get crowned.
I don't know that we know if there is another bare knuckle Canadian. I don't know, but maybe there probably is, but who cares? We care about Melissa. That's what we want. And I also do want to shout out her management team at Bare Knuckle Management. The guys there, Tyler, Remington, those guys have been amazing to us. And thank you to them for setting us up with Melissa to have her on the podcast. It's been great. And guys, we are going to get more BKFC fighters. People have been pretty excited about it. So we're going to get on more. I was surprised that she was saying you got to condition your knuckles and stuff. I guess you got to assume that, right?
Yeah,
but,
that's
how would you do
it? It's just at the bluffs in the beach, just knocking
hitting sand and stuff, right? I don't know. That's what I've seen online. Next week, I did say I would start announcing the guest. Next week on the podcast, we have Lupi Godinez. She is a Canadian strawweight UFC MMA fighter. She fights on October 6th, but she fights in a week or so after we will release that podcast. But next week we have Lupi Godinez on the podcast, and I can guarantee you she's on the podcast because we already filmed the episode. So we're good. We know that she's coming for sure because she already did.
That's right. And another Canadian as well, too, right, Tim?
What's that?
Another Canadian as well. So we're in
another Canadian.
So
yeah,
that's
exactly. I do want to do an update. I thought this would be nice. I think I wanted to give a little bit of an update on some of our guests, Prince, that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I want to congratulate Raquel Pennington on her victory.
Rocky.
Right? The decision victory last weekend she got over Pani Kianzad. Great fight. Rocky looked fantastic, man. Looked good. Strong. Perfect performance. So that was great. The day that this podcast comes out, Prince, there is a 1FC event, and there are 2 Team Lakai fighters on the card. It's Lito Adewang and Joshua Pasio. How do I say that name, Prince?
You got Pasio.
Pasio? All right. Pasio?
Yep. Passion Lock, baby.
The Passion Lock master. So we've got those 2 guys from Team Lakai fighting. And of course, if you saw our video with their coach, Mark, he was on our podcast just a couple of episodes ago. Huge shout out to 2-time Fight Insight alumni Bam Bam Barberena. He just got announced for what may be the greatest fight of the year. December 4th, he is fighting
Matt Brown, baby.
Matt the Immortal Brown. Good God, that is a fight for the fans. His Instagram was just saying Merry Christmas to all the fans because that's a crazy fight. So Bam Bam, congratulations, buddy. We love Bam Bam. All right, Prince is now revealing his Bam Bam Barberena shirt, which that's another thing, Prince. Thank you to everybody for supporting fighters, supporting us. It means a big deal. Like when you buy the t-shirts and stuff like that, we actually had our t-shirts. We are in the midst of delivering all of them that people ordered. So we really thank you. If you have a favorite fighter, go buy their stuff, man. Go buy their shirts, buy their things. It really helps support people. That said, there's another fighter who will be releasing their shirt soon and who also announced a fight. Our favorite, another Canadian fighter, Regan Gowing Coconut. She came on our podcast. Great person, great fighter. She won her fight at Lion Fight. She's a Muay Thai fighter. Go check out that podcast if you haven't seen it. She is fighting on October 23rd. She's fighting for the super flyweight world title like she said she was going to, Prince.
Yep.
In London, England. So how cool is that, man? Coconut is going to fly across the ocean, beat some girl up in London, England, and take home a championship title, which we will then demand her presence on this podcast to show us that title, like we said to her we would.
And you know what? I'm going to say this one thing. I still have the coconut from our first interview. Tim, I'm not kidding. I still have it. And Regan, if we asked the coconut, actually, we still have to figure out a name for the coconut. So we need to ask, which round will this fight end in? You will get the answer. Nice.
Well, Prince, we are very excited. So that's just a little update on all the fighters that we have on the podcast. There's probably more, but we'll talk about them more. And I think we should do that, right? As the fighters that we've grown to know and love on this podcast, we'll definitely shout them out when they do things.
For sure.
Prince, first thing I want to talk about is this weird thing. I'm going to put it on the screen here for people to see. This was on Anthony Rumble Johnson's Instagram or whatever. He said, really wish I could go into detail about how ill I truly am. I just know I need as many prayers as I can get, and I'll see you in 2022, God willing. Never been this afraid of anything in my life, but I've remained strong with the support of friends and family. That's Anthony Rumble Johnson. He's in the middle of the Bellator Grand Prix, so he's had to bow out. Prince, what do you make of that?
Yeah. When I saw that, and I mean, it's crazy because I mean, automatically, oh my gosh, I think it's COVID. But he already said no, it's not COVID.
Oh, he did?
It's not.
Okay, so it's worse than that. Okay,
so it's something else. And you know what? I was worried as well because Anthony's he's such a nice guy, solid guy.
Yeah.
And for this to happen, I mean, hopefully he bounces back from it. And I mean, he's not the type of guy to cause controversy or anything like that. So this is something big, right? So you know what, my prayers goes out to Anthony. Hopefully he comes back. It's a full recovery, and it's too bad, Tim. I mean, it's sad to hear, these things happening, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I don't know. I was going to say, I think it's probably COVID, because the way, we hear so many fighters getting it, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know why, whether, for whatever reason, but in our small sport that we watch, continually fighters are coming down with it, right?
Mhm.
Thankfully, I don't know that there's been any that have, gone badly, but it's caused a lot of fights to be stopped. So, no, I don't know what that would be then. I mean, like, it might be some sort of like neurological condition or whatever. I mean, we're just 100% speculating, because until you said it, I thought it was COVID. So, yeah, hope that he's okay, man. He just made his return. He had the one fight in Bellator on his return, won that fight, and then he was coming back into the Grand Prix. So, yeah, that's unfortunate for sure. Next thing, Prince, which I guess we've got a lot of time, so this is good because we can talk about things at length that I know we wanted to, but let's talk about
look at that.
UFC 266. When this podcast comes out, it will be the day after. But Prince, this is a stacked card. I mean, if you look at who's on the undercard of the fight, like, you've got huge fighters all over the place. Let's start with which fight do you want to start with? I mean, I guess almost really the most exciting one, which is Lawler versus Diaz.
Diaz, yeah. You know what? It's crazy because if in some of the Facebook groups that I've been in, they're getting more. They're getting more hype for that fight in the main event, in the co-main event, right?
Yeah.
And and Nick Diaz. It's crazy because Nick Diaz has already made a statement, and he's like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to bring that gangster persona. I think I'm going to bring a more sportsmanship like, persona into the fight. And I mean, they've fought before, if you guys don't know, and he and Nick Diaz has won, and so it's really exciting just to see these two go at it because they're, again, both legends, and I'm actually really excited to see that fight. To see what. If there's anything Diaz has switched up, and Lawler as well, it's going to be a crazy event. What do you think, Tim?
So we all know that Diaz comes from Stockton 209. That's always his big thing, right? He always does the 209 symbol. Nate Diaz was in a fight, and he had a bet with John Anik that if I win this fight, you have to get a Stockton 209 tattoo. And John Anik has a Stockton 209 tattoo as a result of losing that bet. Yeah. For those that don't know, Lawler and Diaz fought in 2004, 17 years ago, right? There are fans watching our podcast, Prince, fans of Nick Diaz, fans of Robbie Lawler, fans of MMA that were not alive when they fought their first fight. Like, that's crazy. And these guys are still in their relative prime because they fought when they were so young. Mm-hmm. But get this, Prince, like, if you don't believe in numerology or something, like some sort of weird voodoo, right? They fought 17 years ago.
Yeah.
I put it in because I'm a total dork, put it in the calculator to see. They fought 209 months ago.
Oh man, that's
you
nuts.
What I'm saying here?
Yeah.
They fought April 2nd, 2004. They're fighting September 25th, 2021. That was 209 months ago. Stockton 209.
That's
209 months ago.
Yo, Tim, I think my head exploded.
I say that this fight ends at 2 minutes and 9 seconds in the first round, and like the world then it just explodes. It's 209, 209, 209, gone. We're all dead.
Listen, if that happens, Tim, I'm telling you, like, we're gonna.
Yeah.
How did you calculate that? Like, what made you think about that?
I'm just a genius. I don't know. Like, how does that work? I saw it on another Instagram thing, but I thought it was fake. I thought someone was just saying it, right? Because I'm like, what the frig are the odds of that? That's all like impossible. The odds that would happen, that he would be booked to fight the same guy 209 months later. But yeah, that's the deal. I mean, crazy, man. That's so awesome. But that is a huge fight. The last time we saw Nick Diaz fight, he was goofing around, lying on the ground, lost to Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
I wasn't so keen on that performance. You're like, well, what the heck's happening here? Now he's coming back. Like you said, if you watch the embedded, he's talking about, yep, I'm serious. I'm not coming in like the gangster anymore. Like I'm essentially, he's really matured, right? Like when you watch the embedded, and I'll tell you, they have the embedded videos that highlight like all the fights. You can watch just the Diaz versus Lawler, and I'm telling you, my hair was standing on edge the whole time I'm watching it. Like just watching the old fight and watching them talk and train. It's like you get so excited for these two. It's nice. I mean, who do you think's going to take it, Prince, and why?
I'm a big Diaz fan.
Yeah.
I honestly think Diaz is going to take it. I think he's got something in the bag we don't know. I know Lawler's still been in there. He's been fighting. He's still in there and he's active and training. But man, I got my money on Diaz for this one. I don't know why. I like to stick with my favorites, and he is my favorite. So I'm going with Diaz. What do you think?
I love going against you, Prince, and I'm going against you here for sure. But not just because I like arguing with you. I think Lawler has been active for longer. Lawler has showed maturity in his last few fights. He's been consistently active. I don't know why Diaz is coming out of retirement to fight this. There's some nonsense online about him saying, "Oh, when I win this fight, then I'm going to call out Khabib." Okay, look, buddy. You might as well call, and this is what I've been posting online. I'm like, you might as well call us Elvis Presley. Like, Khabib's not coming to fight you. So, like, I don't, like, what's the point? Like, make it a good call out.
Yeah.
If you want to be active, like, I don't know, you're coming in to fight Lawler after 4 years. It's not even main event. So I don't know how much they're paying him for this. You would also think, being a triathlete and all the, cardio that he has, you think that he would have maybe agreed to fight someone in a 5-round main event of like a fight night, like be the headliner of a fight night. But I don't know. I don't like his chances on this. I feel like Lawler will rush him fast.
Yeah.
Put heavy pressure on. Don't let Diaz strike you at range. Get in there tight, muscle him around and potentially wear him out. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but you see how Diaz is now. Like, he's ripped. Like, he's like
he looks like a different man, right? Like he really looks like a different man. And even just his head shape, almost like his haircut, everything about him, he looks different. He talks in the embedded about, he teaches jiu-jitsu class to kids. He's not about that stuff anymore. He's very serious. I just hope he doesn't lie down on the ground. I hope he doesn't play those games. Nate fought just a few months ago when he was fighting Leon Edwards. And what did he do? He kept like turning his back and going like this, right? Like all that nonsense. And I get it. It's funny and all that. But then Nate lost. So like maybe all those times you were turning your back, you should have thrown a jab. So I don't want Nick to do that. I need Nick to be serious. And I think if he were to dare turn his back, I think Lawler just smashes him in the back of the head anyway. So I don't know that you can do that to Lawler.
And I don't think Lawler will even give him the chance. Like, I mean,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
So much pressure on him too. You're right. Like, he'll put so much pressure on him that he won't be able to, pull any of those things. But I think Diaz really, really wants to come in there and show people, okay, I'm back.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I really hope. I could talk about this fight forever, and I hope that we're talking about it after the fights. Like, I'm hoping we talk about it in a couple of weeks at our next podcast, because it has everything to be a fantastic fight of the night. You know what I mean? Or it has everything to be like this Cinderella story of Nick Diaz coming out back and beating Lawler's ass, like just being the Nick Diaz of old and Stockton standing up and getting crazy, right? I don't want him to go down in flames or like a little fizzle, like I need him to come back and be strong and like stand up, that's the thing. And I'm a little bit scared. Next fight, Prince, this is where I'm fighting with people online all the time, 24/7. Next fight is Lucky Lauren Murphy versus some champion called Shevchenko. I don't know if you've heard of her, Prince.
Yep.
What do you think of that fight? Who are you picking?
Valentina is going to moonwalk her way to victory. Like, the bullet is going to take it. She is solid. There's no one else that can stop her. She's coming off victory as well.
She's coming off.
Knockout.
No, but like how many victories has she had? Like a jillion victories over
Yeah.
this whole division. Yeah.
And so, I mean, she's the Bullet. Like, what do you expect? I'm so, it's funny because you watch I'm looking at all the Facebook groups and they're like, yeah, we're going to watch the beating. They've just called it beating.
What do you Prince Fight Insight podcast Instagram at Fight Insight podcast is all over Instagram predicting a lucky Lauren Murphy victory. She is going to shock the world. She is a rough and tough fighter from Alaska. Her story, like her life story, is crazy exciting. If you ever like go invest and look into it, she was on our friend Ashley Evans Smith's podcast, Sex and Violence, where she talks about her life. That was a great one. I think she's going to do it, Prince. She's friends with Bam Bam Barberena. They used to train at the MMA lab together. So, you know, the fact that you're picking against Lucky Lauren, just give me Bam Bam's shirt. I don't think you deserve it anymore. I think Lucky's going to do it. I think at some point you have to have read the blueprint to understand what you need to do to beat Valentina. Someone's going to do it, and I think it's going to be Lauren Murphy. If it's not Lauren Murphy, it's nobody, because I don't see anybody in that division that's got the grit, you know?
So how do you predict this thing's going to end?
By a robbery. like a total robbery. I think she goes in tight, wrestles her, and ground and pounds her. I think we saw in the last few fights where Shevchenko showed really good jiu-jitsu and wrestling and throws. I think now we're not surprised at that anymore. So Lucky and I have been training hard. And she knows, like, hey, if you grab Valentina, don't think that, you know, you're just going to muscle your way with her or like have your way with her. She knows what she's doing. We're not surprised anymore by that. So, okay, so we're prepared for her ground. We're prepared for the throws. I think Lauren Murphy understands now that Bullet is more well-rounded, but she will still impose her game plan. Don't stand at range and get kicked. Like, good God, do not stand at range. You got to get in a phone booth with her quick. Dirty boxer, take her to the ground and pound. Right? That said, the world will have already ended when Nate Diaz wins at 209 in the first round.
Yeah.
I told you, the earth blows up. There's no fight anyways. But
and that there's nothing to walk into, nothing to, you know,
just an empty void. Yeah.
Empty void, like. But still, hey, listen.
No, I think she ground and pounds her and either finishes her or 5-round decision, ground and pound.
Listen, okay, if this happens, I swear, oh man, if it does happen and she takes the dub by, you know, ground and pound, knockouts, TKO, whatever, oh my gosh, Tim, we might as well just...
The UFC folds up.
Yeah.
It'll be like when... oh my goodness, I'm never going to remember the name of the guy. I loved him too. But when that guy beat Kimbo Slice, and that's what they say was the downfall of Elite XC or whatever, they say like that guy fighting him and beating him. The Silverback, his nickname was the Silverback. He was one tough. Anyways, when he beat Kimbo in that event, they said that's what destroyed the whole promotion. That's what this will do. Lucky Lauren wins, and then the UFC just folds. 40 million. Or what is it, $4 billion, just bankrupt, just gone.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the group chats and the Facebook groups and see what the response is, because you should see what they're saying over there. They're like,
no, that's what I'm saying. No, but Prince, that's what I'm saying. Every time I write it now on places and I'm like, Lucky Lauren shocked the world, people are like, are you stupid? And I'm like, look, buddy, if she loses, people go, haha, you were funny, you were trying to goof around. But if she wins, super smart guy right here, Prince. I got it. Guarantee. Next fight, which is, in all honesty, I don't even really care about this fight.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Volkanovski versus Ortega for the title of a division that I don't even, like, what division are we even talking about here? I'm a little bit joking, but Volkanovski has never been one that I've really cared too much about. And Ortega he's gone up and down in my likes and dislikes. I know people get really mad at me when I say that too, but who do you have in this fight?
You know what? Listen. I mean, T City has fought for the belt before and lost, right?
Against Max.
Max Holloway, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
I think he knows this is his second shot, and I think he's just gonna pour everything in there, everything he's got. I think T City's gonna get this dub.
But can he'll give everything, but can he beat Volkanovski?
I think so. I think he's got it. I think he's got that the X factor, and he knows even some of the press conferences and stuff that he's put out there in terms of what's his responses. He's like he knows this is a second chance, and he's gonna take advantage of it. So I honestly think it's gonna be an upset, especially for against that guy. I mean, Alexander, he's the great. He's the great. He's so I don't think he's even lost a fight.
No, he has. Oh, maybe not in UFC. So it's I'm just kidding, but it's the flyweight title. Mm-hmm. Brian Ortega is 15-1. His one loss being to Max Holloway, I believe, which has to be. Volkanovski is 22-1.
Yeah, and he's never since he came onto the organization. I don't think he's lost.
Yeah, and how many fights has he had in the UFC? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Right? So 9 fights. He hasn't lost since his 4th fight. Right? So he's gone on like a 17 fight win streak or something like this. Mm-hmm. He hasn't lost since 2013. So this guy is a machine. But that said, Ortega is right behind him with only 1 loss as well. Right? Mm-hmm. Very good fight. I don't know if Ortega will come in bald. You know how I believe a lot in the hair, right? Yeah. And what that means for people. Yeah. Volkanovski shaved his head bald. He looked pretty badass with the bald head. I like that. I feel like if he comes in with the bald look, that may be good. Because that's what T City does too, right? Sometimes he comes in bald, and that's when he kind of fights better, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he's always had
long hair right now. No. But then he shaved his head, and I think that was when he started getting a little bit better. So people think I'm joking, but I'm not, Prince. What? So you're predicting Ortega?
Ortega, baby.
And I am picking. I'm picking Volkanovski to keep it. I don't like that he was. Sometimes his personality is a little bit funny. Like Ortega.
What do you mean by funny there?
He came off. Remember when he started on the UFC scene? He was all about his charity and doing good for kids and whatever. And he seemed like a super fan favorite. And then he started to like kind of give a little bit of attitude and stuff. And then there was that issue where he punched that Korean DJ in the mouth or something at an event when Korean Zombie went away. Like they were having some sort of problems, and he slapped some sort of DJ or something, and there was some drama there. So I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan of that. I like Volkanovski. Volkanovski seems like a cool dude. So I don't know. That's where I'm going. I think Volkanovski takes it. I think people underestimate Volkanovski. They're very much on this T City hype train.
Okay, and this is we're gonna bet on this based on who comes in with the balder head.
The fresher, the fresher balder head. That's who I would pick. But right now, I'm saying Volkanovski. But on the day, if I see the 2 heads, whichever is balder and shinier, I'm going with that one.
All right, so Fight Insight fans. So listen to this. So these are our picks. Okay, so Lawler versus Diaz. It's gonna end in 209.
Yeah,
right.
209 of the first round.
209 of the first round. Murphy's gonna take it over the Bullet. What was your guess on that again, Tim? What was it? How are you gonna base that dub again? Based on luck.
I'm doing decision. I'm gonna go with decision. I'm gonna say she grounds her for 5 rounds.
Okay.
Or at least 3 of the rounds, she's going to ground her.
And the main event,
whoever's bolder.
That's it, guys. Fight Insight. There you go. That's
easy pick'ems.
Easy pickings, and that's how we decide our winners. And congratulations. Yeah, there you go.
I think it's going to be a great card, though, man. That Diaz and thing. And again, if you haven't watched that Embedded on UFC on their YouTube, man, you got to check that out. That is a well done, well put together video, and it really gets you into those 2 fighters' minds, right? And like who they are. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great.
whenever I watch Embedded, I get so hyped, man. I watched that
I
before.
know. I
I'm like,
know.
oh yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you wake up and you just gotta go to work and turn on your laptop.
Especially if it's two interesting fighters, right? And that's why the Diaz and Lawler one is great. I do want to give a shout out. There's an Instagram page called Stand 'em Up at Stand 'em Up. I feel like that's what it is. But this guy is doing cool stuff, and we were talking today, and he's going to do it for our podcast in the future. But what he's doing is, you've got to find a niche, man. Can I just say, if you've got an Instagram page on MMA, you have to find some sort of niche. You can't be posting the same crap as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's a fight announcement, Bam Bam Barberena versus Matt the Immortal Brown. My feed is just 20 of the same photo and the same thing. Like, you got to do something different, man. I don't know. I don't know how you stand out amongst a crowd. That said, these guys all have more followers than us, Prince. But I feel like at least we put out a unique product. Anyways, there's this guy. Let me find his Instagram just so that I know for sure that I'm saying the right one. But it's like Stand 'em Up or something like that. And what he does is really cool. He's creating Pokemon trading card game cards, but he's putting UFC fighters and then he's giving them moves and stuff. But it's like on a Pokemon trading card.
Oh, nice.
So I'm sure most of our fans know what the hell I'm talking about, but it is funny as heck. I love it. And so what he's going to do moving forward when we're talking about fights, he's going to do a couple of cards for us that we can show. And then just, so we'll normally show the poster or whatever, but he's going to do a couple of cards of the two fighters that we want to talk about most. So we can put the two cards up against one another. It's really cool, man. So keep an eye out for that. We will definitely look for that in the future, and we'll try to work with this guy to get that. We'll share it on our Instagram as well. I don't know why I can't find it right now, but it's a good guy. It's a good guy, and it's funny, man. And he puts he had a card, like, it's always funny stuff, but he had a card for Derek Lewis, and then I think like his power or his whatever was my balls was hot. And then so he uses like funny things from the guys, and then he does that as their powers or their weaknesses or whatever. I think like the weakness of Peter Yan was inability to read the rules or something like that. Like funny stuff, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's good. I don't know. I can't find it now, of course. But all right. So Prince, what else do we have to talk about before we go? We're like super good on time today.
Yeah.
Anything that you wanted to shout out? Did you want to talk about our Filipino TV stuff, like what we're doing there?
Yeah. So you know what? So guys, we're actually going to be there weekly. So again, you can catch us at Filipino TV. Actually, I just wanted to give it another shout out. So guys, if you guys love amazing and healthy treats, check out middaysquares.com and use our code FightInsight15 to save 15% on your first order. I actually want to let you know, Tim, that I think I've switched my favorite. I think fudgy. The fudgy. Yeah, actually, it's really good.
I still like the almond crunch. Here's the cards like this. Can you see that?
Oh, that's sick.
See?
Wow.
Like, that's what he does. It's pretty cool, man. He does a good job of editing it. So yeah, it's at Stand 'em Up. Stand EM Up. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. Prince, yeah, aside from, the Midday Squares guys it really helps support the show. So aside from purchasing shirts and stuff like that, which again, we appreciate. And if you didn't get a shirt in our second order and you still want some, we do have some extras. You can reach out to us. But this helps us too. This supports us as well. And we're so happy to be working with Midday Squares. Prince, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. You're saying.
No, go.
And again, guys, and if you're also, I just want to throw this out again. I don't think we say it enough. You can subscribe to us at YouTube, Instagram, follow us, and listen to us at Spotify, Fight Inside Podcast. And also, you can find us at Facebook and also TikTok. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't think we say it enough, Tim. So I think
no, we don't. It's blasted on the screen. People are watching us as you say it. So I'm sure people know, but please tell your friends. Like, that's something. Tell your friends. I was on the Toys and Tech of the Trade podcast. This is a New York City-based podcast. Rich Butler is the host. It's a very popular podcast in New York City, especially. But I'm on that podcast as a guest. It dropped last week. I was super excited to be on that. It's a long podcast, Prince. It's like an hour and 45 minutes, so it does go kind of long. Wow. But we talk about how the podcast started. We talk about the trials and tribulations of us getting it going, what stresses us out, the difficulties we've had, the successes we've had. And then his podcast is kind of about like technology and stuff. So we talk about like the things that we're using to run our podcast and the struggles that we had with that and what we use. We give out some good podcasting tips. So if you're interested in podcasting, we talk about like how to podcast and what you should be doing. And then we also talk about toys and stuff. Like he loves like toys and comics and things. So we talk a little bit about that as well. So that was a cool podcast. I'm happy to be on that, and look out for Prince and I to be on other podcasts as well. We're going to be on different shows, right?
That's it. That's just on Filipino TV. You can catch us. We're going to be there weekly.
Well, hold on. That's the big news. We're there weekly now. We were there bi-weekly, but we've decided, no, we didn't decide. They asked us to come on weekly now. So we're going to be on every week starting next week. When this podcast drops, it would be the week following. Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, we're on Filipino TV every week, talking about MMA, talking about fights. If you're coming to us and seeing us as a result of seeing us on Filipino TV, please reach out to us. Put us in the comments or reach out to us. We'd love to know that we've garnered some fans through that television appearances.
And actually, and also, guys, if you guys want to leave comments on any of our posts, actually, we love the comments. So any feedback you guys can give us, that'd be amazing. But yeah, that Filipino TV, that's something exciting. And we gotta, there's a little bit more stuff on the way. We don't want to, throw it out there yet, but it's on the way. So stay tuned, and shout outs to the people that ordered their t-shirts and their tanks. Thanks a lot, guys, for the support. And we're gonna come out with more products, right? And we're gonna come out with more, and we're going to be working on car seats next.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, brake pads, calipers. Prince, before we go, who do you think is the hottest male MMA fighter?
Dang, man. You know what? Sage Northcutt.
Sage Northcutt?
He looked like a Ken.
All right, I thought you were going to say like an Alan Joubin or...
Really? Who would you pick?
I don't know. Why would I say who the hottest guy is? That's weird. You just did that.
Oh, I thought you meant who's the... Oh, I mean... Oh! Hey.
No, that was a trap, Prince. That was a trap.
So, okay, Sage Northcutt. Okay, for female...
No, I was saying male. I was just doing it to goof on you. I don't know. Okay. Alan Joubin. Yeah, Georges St. Pierre? I don't know. That was a weird pick by Melissa.
Really?
We're really just trying to fill time at this point.
We're gonna edit this out anyways. There you go.
No, I'm not editing any of that. That's gonna be the clip. It's just Prince picking his hottest male athlete. Prince, this was a great podcast, buddy. I enjoyed it. We're so glad to have Bkfc as a part of our podcast, right? We love to do these combat sports, not just MMA, but like we want to branch out into like the Muay Thai with Regan Gowing and Bkfc now with Melissa. So this is pretty cool. We will definitely look for a lot more of that in the future. Anything you want to say before we go? We've already plugged everything to death.
Yep, everything is plugged away. We've got everything. And again, say good luck, Melissa, Regan. You guys got this. Bring home the bacon, as my mom would say. Bring home the bacon.
Does your mom really say that?
She does, yeah. I have no idea what it means, but just bring it home.
Bring home some Canadian bacon.
That's it.
All right, buddy.
All right.
We're good. This was a good podcast. UFC 266. It will be so exciting, guys. Watch that. We will talk about all the results. Actually, we won't, because next week's podcast is pre-taped. Mm-hmm. But anyways, next week, Lupi Godinez, amazing interview, Mexican-Canadian fighter. See you later, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, right around now, those videos are going to start showing. So make sure you click on some of our other videos.
On some of the stuff.
See you, buddy.